A developing story tonight from along Lake Ontario, where the water is the highest it has been in decades.
And take a look at these pictures, folks, filling up sandbags, all in hopes of saving their property. It's not just homeowners who are having problems here either.
No, the high waters are washing away business for many local marinas. 7 Eyewitness News reporter Ed Riley is in Wilson tonight with that story.
You know, we've got the warnings out there about the low idle, 500 feet offshore, low idle inside the bay areas.
There is a state of emergency in Niagara County because Lake Ontario water levels are so high. And with the spring fishing season ready to kick into high gear, it is feared boaters could crash into hidden obstacles like this concrete pier off Wilson that is now covered by water.
Especially early in the morning, late in the day, you may not be able to see the piers on a choppy day.
The high water is also battering shorelines, and that's creating a risk for people.
It may have been solid before, but now it's loose. It could become a area where you could fall into the water. The water still is extremely cold.
Those conditions will make it difficult for close to shore fishing.
Well, it's the highest I've ever seen in my 40 years, and it's going to stir up the lake and make it more of a deep water fishery.
The water crisis is also sinking business for marinas in the Wilson Harbor.
We're coming down here seeing this, and it's frustrating.
Large number of slips and docks are underwater, making them unusable. Boats that are in the water sit so high that bumpers are useless, and it is too dangerous to use shore power outlets.
Right now for the marina, I mean, we're down quite a lot of slips. You can see it's washing in up to the parking lot almost. From the standpoint of boat owners and customers, the wind's out of their sails.
A major spring fishing derby on Lake Ontario kicks off at the end of next week, but with no place to dock, marina owners and supporting businesses are expecting to lose lots of money.
Even myself at the retail store is definitely going to hurt my spring season for just like I said, the customers, they're not excited about it, so it hurts everything in a whole.
Some yacht owners are frustrated enough that they are now considering moving their boats to Buffalo. And things are expected to get even worse because Lake Ontario levels are expected to keep rising through the middle of May. In Wilson, Ed Riley, 7 Eyewitness News.
A frustrating situation and amazing images there. The water levels, interestingly enough, are actually lower than normal in Lake Erie. So why are the waters so high in Lake Ontario?
I want to bring in 7 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Aaron Menkowski to give us more information. Break this down here for us tonight, Aaron.
All right, thanks, Ashley and Jeff. Well, let's take a look at the Lake Ontario watershed. What's the watershed? That is the entire region that's going to drain into a body of water. So we have from the Niagara River all along the Lake Ontario shoreline past Oswego. This land right here that you see shaded in green, when we get rainfall, all of that rolls into Lake Ontario. In the last 2 months, our rainfall totals have been well above normal, more than 4 inches above normal for March and for April so far. So you have all of this extra rain flowing into the Lake Ontario, and we're seeing a lot of activity where the winds are out of the northeast, and we're seeing the winds out of the northeast that is pushing the water from Lake Ontario toward the shoreline. So as you take a look, you have all that extra water coming in from the tributaries, the rivers and the creeks and the streams, the watershed, and then you factor in the northeasterly wind pushing all that water toward the shoreline. Not to mention there's a dam on the other end of Lake Ontario that is keeping more water in the lake. So you get all those factors into play, and your water levels are rising in places like Wilson. Then we look ahead toward Tuesday, where we are expecting, unfortunately, more rainfall. And you can see in that watershed area between Niagara Falls and Rochester, anywhere from 1/10 to almost 1/2 inch of rain. And a lot of that is going to flow back into Lake Ontario. So that's why the water levels are so high. We're going to focus more on the rainfall expected for your Tuesday and the warmer weather in our 7 First Alert forecast coming up in just a few.
Can always count on Aaron Menkowski for